Revolutionary or traditional? That is the question. I'd like to put some things to you, and first there are going to be three things that I'd like to say that came from Griot 1, and it goes, fools multiply when wise men are silent. One of the most difficult things is not to change society, but to change yourself. And then we go on to the last, which states, when a man is denied the life that he believes, his choice will become an outlaw to live outside of the law, because the law won't let him live inside of it. He will not be included. Which brings me to, why are we so bent on being traditionalists when that means they take away all your rights? They tell you what to do, how to think, what not to do. When you know, I don't like speaking on a lot of religious things, but it states that the main character in the Bible was a revolutionary. He put into practice the teachings that challenges comfortable assumptions. You see, you have to choose to be rebellious rather than prophetic, or religion, restricts you. Do you know that people were given a choice when their lands were being taken, or they were being herded on to ships, or walked over the desert to a new land? You had two options. You either convert or you die. People don't like to talk about that. In fact, they don't like to talk about the truth, because the truth, you see, makes people uncomfortable, especially the people that rule today. We're in a man-made white supremacist environment under that law, but nobody likes to talk about it. Nobody likes to push back against things that have already been taken from you already. We already know that there's not too many things that change. There's just a new look, So why is it so hard for us to put truth before tradition? Or can I say before comfort? Because most people stay quiet because they don't want to lose the little bit that they got. They don't want to make any noise because they know that if they make noise, they might lose the little bit they got. So therefore, they'll sink the whole human race to save their own behind. Yes, people will talk a good game and go to church and do a whole bunch of things. But is that authentic faith? Or is that social approval, which is no more than profound satisfaction over living according to our deepest convictions, which, if we lived like that, we would be more spiritual than religious. We have to put love over prejudice, growth over comfort, radical inclusion rather than our exclusion. We have to think whether we want to conform or be courageous. You see, we have this inherited faith. You see, we are brought into the world. We're told that we're going to be Baptist, Catholic, Methodist, whatever. We don't have a choice in that religion. Okay? So this is how we have been conditioned to think and be who we are. And who has made that system? Just think about it. What better way to program somebody than to have their parents take them to a church and you run the church, you write the sermons, then they bring you to school. Who's writing the curriculums? Who's teaching the kids? And then you wonder why, a lot of people don't know anything about finance. And then the other side knows everything about finance. You wonder why this side of the track lives poorly and why that side is wealthy. We all know that a lot of times we don't get the knowledge that we need. In school, they don't teach you anything about finance unless you go to one of those good schools. You pay for that education, okay? But a lot of times, we go to schools that are just trying to herd you through 12 grades and get you out of there. Which brings me to, if you have an inherited faith, that's a religion. And I know that I like to believe in authentic spirituality. But when I was trying to sit down here and look at these two, you see, religion, it'll tell you real quick in all kind of Google searches and dictionaries and everything else, man's relation to the divinity. To revere, worship, be obedient and submission to mandates and ideas of supernatural or superior beings. So what did they do when they got ready to take over these different countries, whether it be Africa, Peru, South America, the Americas, Germany? You had a choice. Either you went along or you died. People talk about religious freedom. Where is that? Within the Constitution embraces not only the right to worship God according to the dictates of one conscience. More wars have been fought over religion than any other topic. And spiritual, the belief that all reality is spiritual and material, ultimate reality is the spirit, seat of the soul or the mind. Well, they use language first, and then religion, and then the military. Now, I asked about the difference between religion and spirituality because I wanted to know. And all I got was the runaround. You see, they'll say spirituality is the immaterial part of man's or woman's nature, internal condition of a man or a woman that prepares them to recognize and properly appreciate spiritual realities. Well, in short, that wasn't good enough for me. So I asked, see, we have AI and all of that, so I asked, well, which one came first, spirituality or religion? Come on, let's get real here. Oh, spirituality is seen as the underlying human inclination to seek meaning and connection, which gave rise to the development of structured religious systems. Well, I knew that all the time. I just had to get it where it admitted that spirituality was here way before religion. In fact, you made religion off the tenets of spirituality, just like human beings. They don't like to talk about that, but let's be real here. Everything came out of Africa. Nobody likes to say that, but you're all Africans. And all of you people talking about you black Indians and you this, you that, and everything else. Well, according to science, everything came out of Africa, started in Africa. You just wanted to start it in the 1600s.